And it is the age of the clitoris, because when the clitoris is leading our dances, we're not gonna, it doesn't make us have babies. So I feel like we are entering the age of the clitoris. Entering the age of the clitoris. All right, now we are at the last one, which is wrath. And I know, because I work in theater, women don't do, well, we don't do anger. We don't do that, and we got to get over that, sisters. And that's one of the differences I find in lesbian culture as opposed to straight women's culture. Lesbians aren't afraid of our anger, and sometimes that's not so great, but you know, we're going to talk about that.
We talk on and on and on.
Wrath is not anger, and it's not rage. And those are really important distinctions. And the dictionary says about anger, it's annoyance, displeasure, hostility, kind of like a mosquito in a tent or your upstairs neighbor's music. It's not really big enough, like wrath, as an appropriate response to patriarchal violation.
Yeah.
Anger can be useful. Sister Audre Lorde said in her wonderful essay about it, she says, it's packed with energy and information. When your lover's pissed off at you, it is packed with energy and information. We got to figure out the communication skills to tease out what that energy and information is. But anger is not a good way to approach each other, because so many of us have been traumatized by violence, and sometimes when you speak to your sister in an angry voice, she dissociates completely, and then she'll agree with you or whatever, but you've done nothing. You've done nothing. She's not engaged with you anymore. She's dissociated. We have to take care of each other. We are our sister's keepers, and we need to be aware that so many of us walk around PTSD, Stockholm Syndrome, all kinds of shit like that. We have to really be aware not to trigger each other, ourselves, our sisters. We need to learn to control our anger, and I'm speaking of myself. I've been in recovery for 20 years. I still go to 3 meetings a week because I'm pissed off about everything, and I need to go someplace healthy and deal with it. And here's a nice little handy thing you can say next time you're really pissed. I'm having strong feelings right now. I say that so much to my partner, she now will turn and say, are you having strong feelings right now? Yeah. Here's another one. I need to go away and think about that before I respond. Anyway, rage. Rage is even worse than anger. Rage is violent, uncontrollable anger. It's inexcusable. It's inexcusable. It's perpetration. Yeah. If you got a problem with rage, get your ass to a meeting. It's just like a venereal disease. You either live by it yourself on a mountaintop and rage away, but if you're going to be in a community, particularly a community of like lesbians with so many survivors, and you got an issue with rage, you have to go somewhere and take care of it. Just like if you're going to be sexual with a partner. If you want to have VD, that's fine, you go live somewhere. But if you're going to have a partner, you have to go somewhere and take care of that. And I just can't be strong enough about that. If you know who you are, if you got issues with rage, you have to take care of it or go live by yourself. Boom. All right, but now let's talk about wrath, because I do believe in wrath. And the dictionary tells us that wrath is retributory punishment for an offense or a crime. It is divine chastisement. That's an interesting connection. You know, when synapses fire together, they wire together. That's why they show you women in bikinis and expensive cars and shit. It's a sad truth that when you can get 2 synapses to fire together, they form a connection. The patriarchy and corporate capitalism is using that all the time. We have to start doing that too, like pure and lust, like divine and chastisement for this word wrath. It comes from the English word for twisted. And twisting happens when you're trying to turn one thing one way and there's a counter force turning it the other way. That's what twists you. I love that. I love that derivation for wrath, because it's like we're being rough. It's like trying to live a free life when someone's trying to control you. It's like trying to do something radical with your life when everything else around you is trying to make you be conservative. It's like trying to break out of the conditioning of your childhood, but feeling all that internalized stuff twist the other way. It's like loving a planet when it's being ruined. It's like caring for your sisters and seeing them have to live every day in a war zone. It's like raising your children and see the whole world geared up to violate them. It's like having so much energy and purpose, but any job you can get is absolutely meaningless and sometimes downright evil. It's like trying to make art and finding out the only thing they're going to pay you for is self-hating crap. Sisters, wrath. Every woman in here is feeling that twist. Can I get a witness?
Yes.
All right, and if you're not feeling wrath, you've known, because you are being twisted. It is divinely inspired. It is that divine chastisement energy. Trust your wrath, not your anger, and for God's sake, not your rage, but your wrath is something you can trust because it's based in pure lust, that compass, that true north. We can use our wrath. And as Sister Audrey Lord said, our silence is not going to protect us. And here's someone else I like to quote, Denise Levertov. She was talking about the Holocaust, but I think it also can refer to a lot of other things. She says there comes a time when only anger is love.
Yes.
I felt that way when my friend killed herself in March. I wasn't feeling love for her. I was feeling anger because that time had come when only anger was love. We don't need to be afraid when that happens. That means we are channeling something. We are being called to rise, sisters. His wrath is coming from the divine. We're being called to rise. And I think of the wrath of Trayvon Martin. I feel national wrath.
Yes.
Called to rise. Twisted. We're being twisted. Trying to raise loving sons and then having to teach them to be scared all the time. That twist. Anyway, I just want to say that wrath is something so needed. We need to embrace it. You can't have these other qualities, in particular that pure lust, that desire to share pleasure, without running into all those things that are preventing that, keeping us from loving ourselves, our bodies, our sisters, our planet. Wrath, to me, is the age of the clitoris and the age of wrath. I think we're in it right now. And of course, I'm going to tell you that those things are both sins. But sisters, we have this big river of love, and it is pouring toward a sea of biophilic connection. And when we are in that river, we're going to hit boulders. You know, I'm not going to lie to you, we're lesbians. We have smashed into those boulders all our life. They are there. And the faster you're traveling, the harder you're going to hit. You know that. And we've got sisters that are traveling, they're so frightened of that impact, they're traveling slow, or they're off on the side pools, not going anywhere. And we don't judge those sisters because we don't know what they've lived through, and we don't know what they can stand. But those of us that can move with that energy of wrath, with our pure lust, with all of our biophilic energy, in that river of love, that sacred river of love, that fully synapsing, fully connected, fully remembering energy, let us do it. Let's not be afraid of those boulders, because they're always going to be there. They're always going to be there. Sometimes we're going to hit them. Sometimes we're going to flow over them and around them. Sometimes we're going to actually wear them down. Sometimes we're going to roll them downstream. And sometimes, sisters, we're going to feel so dammed up behind them. But don't worry, we're just building up the energy till we can get over it. Because that river is real. And I'm feeling it here at Olak. I'm feeling it here today in the tent revival. And I want to end with two quotations by two incredible lesbians. One of them was Susan B. Anthony. They don't want you to know she was a dyke. She was a big dyke. She slept with a lot of women, too. Yeah, she said failure's impossible.
Yes.
Failure's impossible. What did she know that we might not be knowing? And the words of Sister Toni Kate Bambara, who I love to quote, she said, "The dream is real, my friends. The failure to realize it is the only unreality."
Say that.
And I'm going to say it again. The dream is real. It's a black woman in the 60s.
Yeah.
And she said this, so you listen up. The dream is real, my friends. The failure to realize it is the only unreality. Like she'd already seen it in fruition. So now we're coming to the portion of the tent revival where we end with a sacred ritual, which is called the Hokey Pokey. This is a deep spiritual thing you can take away with you when your partner's fighting with you, or when your boss has called you, and you know the girlfriend, like, we need to talk. That's bad boundaries. It's, I need to talk to you, not we need to talk. Shit, I don't need to talk to her. I'm doing that on me business. All right, so anyway, we're just going to do the last verse of it. This is so sacred, I can hardly even just deal with it. And I forgot to rehearse it with the choir, but I think y'all are going to do just fine. You put your whole self in. How hard is that? That's a lifetime. I didn't even get my memories till I was 32. Any woman who can put her whole self in has done a fucking boatload of work. Put your whole self in. And then, because we're lesbians, and you know how we are, take your whole self out. But sisters, if you're in a relationship and you can't take yourself out, you're a slave or a hostage. Can I get a witness?
Yes!
All right, so sometimes you put your whole self in, and then just to be sure that you really want to be there, you got to take your whole self out. Just all right, because I'm a dyke. And then you put your whole self back in again. That's the commitment. You stepped out. Put your whole self back in. What's next? You're going to shake off the patriarchy. You're just going to shake that shit off. Shake it all about. And here comes, sisters. Here's that moment. This is the baptism. Turn yourself around. You're going to turn yourself around. You're going to turn all that crap around. You're going to turn around the 7 deadly sins and own them for yourself. You're going to turn around that guilt and shame and turn it into pride. You're going to turn that isolation into reaching out with each other. You're going to turn all that busyness into some fucking sloth, please. Yeah. Turn yourself around, because that's what it's all about. Boom. All right, so the first time we're going to do it, we're going to just, so rise with me, please. Just going to do it without the music. We're going to do a dry run. But I want you to think about these words and what you're doing. You come here to Olaf, you come here to the tent revival to be saved. This is that moment. This is the coming forward part. So I want you to get where you can do this. Now, let's practice. Put your whole self in. And think about that. Think about the parts you've left behind, the parts you've been ashamed of, and some of y'all having trouble with your sexuality like Sister Carolyn. You rethink that damn thing. You rethink it, because all that complication, all that difficulty is an absolute just treasure house of opportunity. You put your whole self in. You put your whole damn damaged, furious, wrathful, confused, difficult, complicated. You put your whole damn self in with your whole complicated history. All right? And then, because you're dying, take your whole self out again. You have to do that from time to time. Now, this time when you do it, mean it. You put your whole self in. Shake off all that crap. Just shake it off. And here's that moment, sisters. The commitment to turn it all around. Turn yourself around. Because that's what it's all about. Woo! All right, so can I get the revival singers up here? We're going to sing this twice, and the second time I want it to be so loud the Baptists can hear us. And maybe some of them will wander over and ask us what the age of the clitoris means. All right, ready?
Ready.
All right, let's go, sisters.
You put your whole self in, you put your whole